Together with my two friends, I co-founded a base on September 18th, 2021 named Besbin. Now, we made it an end base so it wouldn't be found as easily if people were just randomly walking or base hunting in the overworld, because in the end, since there's less activity, you can make a base closer to spawn in the end than you can in the overworld or nether. Now, at first, I didn't see any reason to come to the base because, like I said at the beginning, I'm never one to have any base on 2B. The only one I ever had was when I was a brand new player, and I didn't want to have one since then. But after a little while, I decided why not, so I made the trek out to the base, and we began building. There were about 7 or so of us here at the base, and we all created great things here. Even those that found it said it was a good base. But nothing ever lasts forever on 2B2T. And of course our base was found the old-fashioned way, the way that almost all bases are found on 2B. One of our members ended up leaking the coordinates. The base lasted about 3.5 months, which doesn't seem that long. But on a server like 2B2T, it's actually kind of a long time. And it was actually pretty close to end spawn. So today, allow me to give you a tour of Besbin, our end base on 2B2T. And here is Besbin, just a couple of moments before it ended up being griefed. Since the base was about 3 months old, it wasn't really that big because we didn't have a lot of time to work with and expand upon it. But we made it go pretty far across this end island, and I think it looks pretty good. So here I'm starting at I don't know which part would be the back of the base. I just called this part the back. Now this is a statue I built. This is one of the last things we actually built at the base, and this took me like 2 days because I'm not good. Even though I was part of this base and I built a bunch of stuff, I'm not that good at building, especially statues. I've never attempted to build one in survival before, so I just created my own design of one. I just made it up as I go. Because it was an end base and you can't set your respawn point in the end, we had to make some pearl suspenders, so if we were stuck at spawn or anything and we went back to the end and wanted to go back to the base to resupply or anything, we could have a friend load a pearl and then it would instantly bring us back here. And we had one here and one over there, but it didn't get included in the world download. What we would do is we would write names on signs to see who was occupying each station, so we wouldn't accidentally compromise any pearl loading station and have it completely be confusing. So we had a pretty good system for loading pearls. So over here is one of the houses in the base. Now the reason there's a bunch of slime blocks on top of it, I'll tell you in a second. So what we did for the base is that we tried to make it the kind of end quartz and sea lantern and diamond block theme for a lot of the base. And even down here in this mini AFK fishing farm, we would make it all quartz and stuff. Now this back here, this was supposed to be a door to something. I don't know what it was because my friend never finished this before we had to grief the base. And we kept a bunch of 2B2T times around the base. So we have a few copies of old 2B2T times papers in the world download. We would also have spots in our base where we could play music discs, because we had all 12 music discs. Now if you go up here in this house, this was the storage unit where we would keep a lot of the stuff at the base. And up here was an area that he built where you could look outside and see the base from inside of the house. Now the reason there's a bunch of slime blocks on top of the base is because I placed these all here while he wasn't online, just to troll him when he logged back in. But unfortunately he got priority banned, so he hasn't logged back on since to see that his house was entirely given a slime block hat, and he won't even be able to see it because the base was griefed. Now if you take a left here, this was our main storage area for the base. Like all of our books that we had, our just colored wool and stuff, random gear, random other crap that we did that was kind of garbage. Food was in here, building and stuff was in there. Now take a trip over here. This is a thing I built. I built a mini valley of wheat at the base, but I made it out of quartz and diamond blocks to see how it would look, and I think it did a pretty good job with it. I also added beacons as the light sources on here instead of torches like at the real valley. And I also stuck to the theme because we had a theme at this base of putting diamond trees with obsidian stems and our banners on them. So I stuck to that here. Make a trip over here. This is the first thing that we built at the base. This was our bouncy house that we would do. We would have a platform up here, and sometimes we would just jump off and bounce on the bouncy house. And also, our storage area used to be out here before we built it over there. And so what I did is I moved some of the stuff in here to make it more efficient. Now that giant thing up there, I'm going to show you later. Of course, we had to put a fake nether portal here because you can't access the nether from the end. Now this thing was a temple that one of our members built. I have no clue what this was supposed to be. I think this was just a decoration at the base. Now this thing over here, this thing is one of my favorite things at the base. The same person that built that temple over there also built this little fortress with a diamond tree in the center of it with roots coming out of it. I think it looks really nice, and I think he did a good job on it. And now if we go over here, this was my house at the base. Now, in survival, I'm never good at building, so I tried to make a good looking house that also would fit in with the rest of the base theme. And I also integrated, instead of having the water elevator in the middle of the house like that over there, I put it integrated into the back of the house, so I would have more room in here for like storage down here and some shulker boxes. And I also made it, because of the water mechanics in 1.12, if you're climbing while you're next to a block, it slows you down. So what I did is I would put air pockets here so you could swim up the water faster. And up here would be my other storage areas for all my stuff. And I made this house mainly for storage, but I rarely ever use this storage. Now this massive ship thing that I'm on, this is called the Star Destroyer. It was built mainly by EBS. House was here in Splito. Now I don't know what this thing was from. Even though EBS told me what it's from, I have no clue, but this thing took a pretty long time to build, and it is huge. It's hard to get it all in render distance. That's what it looks like from the outside. I think it's a really cool thing. This was kind of our main build at the base, and this is kind of why I liked it a lot. So that's pretty much the entirety of the base. Like I said at the beginning, it only lasted about 3 months, so there wasn't that much time to work with. But I think this is pretty good for a 3-month-old base. I hope you guys enjoyed this little base tour, and I'll see you next time.